Welcome to Keeping It Real with Dr. Rose Solomon.
But the most of all, this show is going to make sure that First Lady, Pastor's wife out there not be silent anymore. It is time for their voice to be heard.
Things always start out good, and then when you turn your heart away from God, then things go awry. So I've been through betrayal from my spouse, from the love of my life, just hurt and pain and verbal abuse and, even physical abuse. But, I've come to see that God will restore you if you want to be restored. He will only restore you if you are willing to listen to His voice and willing to hear what God has to say to you. Then He will begin to bring you back to a place where He can use you.
Dr. Monica, I want you to shed a little light in this. Every day I ask myself the question, I say, God, these men of God that you're called and appointed for such a time as what it is, why they're doing this.
Well, first I want to admire the fact that her outcome, how she was able to direct her in after all she's been through, her deliverance, her testimony. I had an opportunity to speak with her, Pastor backstage, and it's amazing. And I heard you discuss and share with the audience some of those stories about the self-esteem and the denial process. And I personally think because the fact that they are pastor wives, and just like, because I specialize in performance psychology, and performance psychology helps people reach their peak, whether it's in sports, the boardroom, the war zone, or the bedroom. It helps people reach their peak performance. And with their situation, it was basically where I've noticed where it was a self-esteem tearing you down, and you was in denial. And we have to understand the preacher needs prayer also. And we were in denial, and especially seeking counseling. More a support system. In the church.
And that is so true.
Not been ashamed of it.
And that is so true. And oftentimes I said, I believe they should have a group of clergy, men of God that are standard and living for God, to form this when these leaders fall from grace. They went in sabbatical for about a year, because sometimes when they think they get ill, they don't. They go right back to the same thing. The key is prayer. You see, when you begin to pray and you begin to ask God, you begin to pray for Him, that's where the healing takes place. That's where the deliverance, that's where the shock will begin to broken from you. And know that you don't connect Him. And now you could open up your mouth and talk about the story that you've been through. Oh, come on, give it up for my guests in this afternoon. Amen. Amen.